In the top left, playing as Valder, we have Sedgehun up against Snaek, aka I'm Solid Snake, who is playing Tenri on the right hand side. So how is this going to play out? Just seeing sword buy, so no wagon plays coming out. And Snaek, ooh, goes for this village over here. Interesting. No, wait, that's the normal play. Sorry. I'm being dumb. And Snaek, though, what is interesting is they go for the wagon. So we're going to see this wagon boost this sword up. Sword's going to be positioned to capture this village. So this is the big difference you want to do as player 2. You want to capture this village. You want to make sure your opponent doesn't get to it before you do. So yeah, the wagon is pretty much necessary as player 2 to do that. Unless you go like some very alternative route with your swords. The wagon helps a lot. Whereas Sedgehun doesn't need to do that, just turbos the dragon. Against the Tenri? That's kind of interesting. Tenri is going to be very good at dealing with this dragon, but I guess like the big thing is Tenri also has to have the units in place to deal with the dragon. And there are a double mage, so with like this first mage being pretty advanced.
Rise from your grave.
And we see Sedgehun, they get their sword up. They get the nice crit. That is a coin flip, but they do get it. Dragon comes forwards. Just kind of sits in this threatening position here. And now Snaek can't really do anything without having mages nearby. Thankfully, there is a mage. There are balloon and wagon transports to keep them going around. And oh wow, the dragon doesn't get the hit it wants. Takes some damage. And this can be a big deal. It means that dragons actually can't kill certain units at full health on land. Costs like decent chunk of money to heal that dragon as well. That's like essentially losing a sword worth of gold. Oh, Tenri's getting really close to having groove. This is looking good for Snaek. Worst case is 4 turns until Tenri grooves. This dragon has to make itself valuable in that amount of time. Right, and now it hits a village on a road, which it will always kill. Even if it's not at full health. And yeah, Sedgehun's just like, oh, well, I can't let Tenri hit anything else in my army ever again, so that's just gonna be what they're doing. Being more defensive, and yeah, Tenri. Oh, that's cute. Uses the wagon just to hop Tenri forward a little bit more. I like that. Oh, Witch gets a hit on the dragon. Oh, I completely missed that. And apparently, so did Sedgehun. I mean, the dragon will live and the witch will die, but that's a very nice gold trade. And when you're talking air units, like air units are often bought because you have excess gold to spend. So it's not like losing a ground unit where you will only have a set amount of ground units throughout the game. Like air units are kind of almost like spare. So spending 800 gold on a witch to deal what, like 1,000 gold's worth of damage almost to a dragon is like really nice. And of course, you know, there's like a bunch of positional stuff and other things that are important, but just hitting the dragon really hard is like a big deal. And even kills the mage, so now Snaek has their own dragon that's going to be extremely threatening. And yeah, they've got Tenri Groove, so forcing the dragon to heal and then being able to kill it like later on. This dragon just can't go near Tenri. Unless it's setting up for some massive play where like you get a huge advantage. And yeah, the dragon's just like, nope, I gotta get out of here. And now all of a sudden Tenri's just like the big anti-dragon zone. And how is Snaek gonna take advantage of this situation? This dragon's gonna knock down this village. Just goes for economy. Makes sense. Oh, that could have been a spear crit. I think that was a bit of a gamble. Wanted to try and kill that spear without, and then get a second spear crit follow-up. So Snaek playing a bit wild and loose there. Tenri's like kind of slowly moving forwards to this kind of central position.
By my hand, rise.
Wants to threaten the dragon. Oh, are we going to see a surround on this dragon? I believe so. And yeah, mage gets into position. Interestingly, the mage can't actually kill the dragon. And there isn't a second mage to finish it off. So the dragon's going to kill another unit for free here, potentially. Which, you know, I guess it's Valder. He doesn't really care if he loses a sword, but... I'm still intrigued as to how this is going to play out. Tenri? Are we going to see the mage get sent forwards? Golem gets sent forward. Kills the swords. Oh, and the knight follow-up. That was super clutch, actually. Because now the dragon can escape. And, ooh, good spears. Finishes off the opponent's knight in the forest. And, whoa, just even using those units up in the north deal a bit of damage. Yeah, that knight just gets out nice and healthily. Snaek playing this game too very well. The dragon, however, is going to be much more of a threat, especially given that he can hit a golem for not quite free, actually. Oh, Valder gets a kill, though. Oh, you don't want to leave stuff in range of Valder. Oh, wow, that mage actually going for the hit? That's pretty interesting, because now there's no anti-air on this bottom side. Like, that mage will just die to basically anything that sneezes at it. But hitting the golem for that much means the dragon there threatens to kill it, so... I can kind of see that trade being worthwhile. Oh, that was such a good sword crit. And we're going to see, yep, second sword crit follow-up. Really nicely done. And we're just seeing a ton of damage coming in here. All the mages are dead. Golem walks back, gets a heal. Makes a lot of sense. You don't want to lose that. And yeah, just Snaek heals up more of the army. Realizes that, like, hey, I need to keep this stuff alive. And now Valder is actually in a pretty healthy position himself. He really likes being in a situation where he can just constantly smack units. Oh, wow. Snaek loses something up in the north that he should not have. And Sedgehun hasn't been spending money. Like on anything remotely expensive. So lots of money. Golem comes out. So we now have Golem, Dragon on both sides. And Sedgehun backs up. Recognizes that maybe not in the best position. Okay. Oh, the sword doesn't kill. That's unfortunate. Oh, the weak sword can finish it off, actually. Never mind, doesn't go for it. Put it in range of Valder, so that makes sense. And Tenri, oh, gets a hit. Builds more groove. And Snaek just pushes forwards. Oh, and that spear. I guess the spear just kind of has to hit the dog. It could actually have walked back and healed. Because, yeah, now you just lose the spear. And, like, your opponent has an injured dog, but so what? The Snaek maybe getting a bit too aggressive up on this north side. But if we look at the time, like, Sedgehun's sitting on about 40 minutes. We'll take a look at how much time Snaek is sitting on. That might be an indicator of why Snaek is playing just so aggressively. And Snaek also actually sitting on about 40 minutes, so... Yeah, time is not really the factor right now. They have both got plenty of time. Tenri's super far forward there. I don't know if that's the best idea, but yeah, I mean, I guess, like, if you want to be aggressive, you can be aggressive. I still feel like if that one spear was alive, this is another one of those cases like the last game where one unit being alive would make a big difference right now. And oh wow, Sedgehun able to find the route through, able to get a hit on a village with Valder. Even does some damage to this mage. And now I'm curious, does Snaek actually have enough damage here for this counterattack? I mean, you know, he's got the knight in range from back there. Uses the sword instead. Oh, I don't know if that's the right unit to use there, but they go for it. Now we just see the dragon walk back, heal. Big archer crit. That did a ton of damage. And yeah, their golem goes down. Oh, big damage on this dragon too. So Snake's actually still in this. They get the big mage heal. They aren't going to buy anything this turn. Because nothing is actually going to reach in time, and they recognize that. They just want to push forward, deal a ton of damage. Taking that golem down was huge. They have a massive army lead over here. And as long as they keep this north side safe, I think they'll be okay. Yeah, Sedgehun just heals their dragon up. Does a couple cheap buys before that.
Rise from your grave.
And this is going to come down to, can Snaek actually push through this? There are so many balloons, and there's actually very little anti-air left. Like, losing one of those mages was quite a big deal. Big mage heal comes in though, so we're going to see another balloon go down. Really nice play. Golem's just going to, take out that archer. Are we going to see another side get opened up? Won't be opened up by Tenri. Yeah, Snaek just keeping a lot of their army healthy. Probably could have healed this spear actually, but Alex not too. And it's just a case of Snaek just has to push forward in a way that doesn't result in Tenri getting lethals. That is, like, first and foremost the most important thing right now. Dragon heals up, picks off his swords. Nicely done. And yeah, there also just needs to be enough mage in this front line to be able to deal with all these balloons. Because yeah, Sedge just has so many balloons right now. Okay. Spear doesn't quite go down to the dragon, but we're going to get that follow-up. Oh, wow. Tenri's so deep. Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. Oh, the spear lives. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And now, I actually don't know if Tenri can survive this. There's quite a bit of damage here. Alright, dog suicide. That's going to do quite a chunk. Big mage heal. Spear crit suicide, followed by just a regular spear suicide. Archer follow up 74. Oh, and Valder able to get the kill, and Snaek just pushed a little bit too far forward on that one turn. Got very unlucky with that one spear living on 1%, because that got a mage heal, was able to go up to 21%, get that spear crit. Is a nice chunk of damage, and if that actually hadn't happened, I think Tenri lives that, because that spear crit did enough damage to, because every single hit of damage generates further damage in the future, because it's better to hit someone for 20% damage 5 times in a row than to hit them for 100% damage once, because every time you hit them, the amount of benefit they get from terrain defense goes down. So being able to just get that extra, I don't know how much damage that was, like 5%, we'll say, off the spear crit. Possibly even more than that, actually. But that little bit of extra damage was enough to really push the future damage up, because every time you do damage, like even a small amount of damage, it increases the potential future damage of every attack. So getting a bunch of small hits in with the dog, with the spear crit, with the extra spear hit as well, that was all able to increase the potential damage of all future attacks. So when it came time for the big heavy hitters like the dragon and Valder to come in, like Tenri's health was already much lower. Tenri's defense was also a bit lower then because of that too. So yeah, like someone in chat saying Snaek RNG screwed. Yeah, I do feel like there was a few missed opportunities that kind of resulted in them pushing up north more than they needed to. I think losing the spear up north actually cost them a lot, because it was the only unit they had defending up there. And if you just heal off the village, the dog isn't going to be able to do anything. But if you run in and hit the dog, then you're losing like a pretty valuable unit that can defend against, like, there's a knight harassing up north a lot of the time, and it can deal with the dog pretty healthily by itself, especially if you just heal from the village again. But yeah, that dog would have just been shut down. The knight would have actually really struggled as well. So yeah, losing that spear for free up in the north. And there was a dog that died as well when it didn't need to. So yeah, that was a rather unfortunate misplay there by Snaek, which then resulted in this push, because once you lose that north side, you kind of just have to push on the south. And this push was actually going very well. It was just a case of Snaek didn't get the kills they needed to. They got a bit unlucky. They didn't have enough mages to back this up, so they were kind of pushing into a wall of balloons that they were struggling to kill. And yeah, like that pressure on the north side really hurt them. So it was a really well played game by Snaek. It was just a couple of very small things. Same with game one, there was just a couple of very small interactions that really cost them. And you know, it's the thing you say like when you're in the post game, where I'm able to say this as like someone watching the game, but obviously when you're actually playing, like, you might not always see these things. That said, like, I think Snaek played both games very well, and they're very capable of winning, so I'm very interested to see how they go forward in this tournament. And I think they can still make it to the top 4 cut. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's only a couple front runners at the moment. And we take a look at the stats. So yeah, like, income went back and forth a bunch, but Snaek actually was doing pretty well up until like that very last turn. And this kind of increase from Sedge at the end, like they're in the blue here, that was like purely the knight and the sword and the dog harassing up north for free. So yeah, that one spear would have slowed this down significantly, if not shut it down. Especially if they'd also kept that dog alive. They lost that for free. And then let's look at the army value. Pretty even throughout a lot of this, but we even saw Snaek actually getting an army lead advantage towards the end. And then, of course, combat unit count. Valder's always going to be ahead. Like, you just kind of have to accept that he's pretty much always just going to have a small unit count lead, just because of the way his groove functions. And how many grooves? We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Valder grooves, with a 6th potentially at the end. So Valder was only up by a couple of units, despite the fact that he was grooving so much throughout the game. So Snaek actually did a super good job there. And this 28 to 18 stat really shows it as well. It's covered by the graphs right now, but it says 18 18 deaths, 28 kills. So yeah, Sedgehun just like playing out extremely well. Oh, sorry. Well, Sedgehun did also play very well, but Snaek played it extremely well. Actually, I think it's just a rather they got very unfortunate with both games. But that is their set for week 3, or for round 3 I should say. And we will see them in the next round. I'm really looking forward to their matches. I think they can definitely pull it back.